Hello, guys, and welcome to the final episode on Big Brother Season 24. It's not Season 24, it's Season 21. I don't know why I said 24. Oh, it's because it's 2024. That would be why. But we're going to be doing a tier list today, ranking the housemates from best to worst, basically based on how much I enjoyed them across the whole series. Now, I just want to say, these are my opinions only. Please do not be sending hate towards me in the comment sections. I'm more than happy for you to have your guys' opinions, but do not attack mine. This is a channel where we're all allowed opinions. Some of them might stink, but we're not going to tell people that they stink because that is rude. So, without much further ado, let us get into the ranking. And let's see, I mean, we obviously know who's going to be at the top, but let's see where everybody else is going to slot in. So, we're going to start with Ryan. I'm going to put him in the dislike section. He didn't make a great first impression, and obviously he was first boot. And so I just feel like actually I didn't get enough time to know him. But what I did see of him just wasn't enough to make me want to keep him in the house. I did vote him out, I have to say. I didn't dislike him, but I didn't like massively like him enough to put him any higher. So he has to go in the dislike section just based off of first impressions. And he just didn't do anything in that first week to make me go, ooh, let's keep him in the house, guys. He's super entertaining. And when he was up against like Baked Potato, Nathan, and who else was he up against in the first week? Dean, I was like, I prefer those three over Ryan, so he kind of just had to go home, sadly. Days, I was flitting between legendary and enjoyable, but I think I'll put her in enjoyable purely because I just can't put her in legendary because she was only in for 2 weeks. However, if she had been in a lot longer, she could have easily made it into that legendary spot. I loved Days. I thought Days was so lovely. She had strong opinions, but she voiced them articulately and eloquently, and she got her point across, and I actually really did appreciate that. There were so many times where she'd have discussions, she'd have arguments, and actually I felt like she was giving really, really valid, interesting points. So I have to give her props where props are due, you know. It's one of those things at the end of the day. She did a good job. And I was gutted when she was evicted. It was tough because in a choice between her, Martha, Lily, and Ali, it was just a bad eviction bunch all around to pick from. I picked Martha because out of the other three, I liked Martha the least. But it is what it is. There's not really much you can do about it. She had her moments, Days, but sadly she was second out. Izzaz? Again, I would put him in enjoyable. I think he had his moments of I'm annoyed with him, but like I didn't hate him. And then there were moments where I was like, oh, I actually really do like you. Like when he was kind of kicked out of the boys group and they all started like bitching about him behind his back. It just was a bit mean. It was a bit nasty. Everyone kept voting for him because he was nice. And I was like, oh, just get over it. Do you know what I mean? And then he was evicted against Marcello, Nathan, and Khaled. Was Khaled also up in that eviction? I think he was. I mean, personally, I voted Marcello out. I think that tells you where he's going to be ranking. But I really thought that the British public got it wrong with Izzaz. I thought Izzaz was actually very, very lovely. He had a few stroppy moments, but who wouldn't in the Big Brother house? Some of the best Big Brother contestants have had stroppy moments. So don't be pretending that that is a problem for you guys, because surely it can't be. Next up, we have Martha. Martha, I'm going to put in ups and downs. I had moments where I really liked Martha, and then there were moments where I really didn't like Martha, like when she tried to cause an argument with Hannah over, oh, did you hear Lily's name? Get Lily out. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just like, it was unnecessary is what it was. Her slay personality was a bit grating at times, but I think I thought at the time it could be potentially performative, but it is just her. And so I feel like I've come back on that and reflected and been like, actually, I don't think she is actually as annoying as I thought she was. I think that she was a great housemate. She was entertaining. She caused issues and she got the backdoor boogie. I think that Big Brother needs to sort out those fucking back doors because I'm pissed off of them. It gets to the point where if it's one or two like it was last series where I think Carrie was a backdoor, Matty was a backdoor. Okay, cool, fine. Everybody else got a live eviction. That's fine. But yeah, I don't know. Martha's exit was a little bit underwhelming. And plus, she was up against Thomas, and I don't know how Thomas got more votes than her, honestly. Oh, it was vote to evict, wasn't it? Yeah, okay, fair enough. That makes sense. Up next, we have Dean. I would put Dean in enjoyable. I'm a bit of a bitchy person. I love a bitch. I love having a bitch with people. So I appreciated the fact that he was a little bit outspoken. He spoke and he was like, meh, 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 meh. I'm just going to say what I want, etc., etc. There was only one time where I felt like it was unwarranted, and that was when it was aimed at Sarah and he just rinsed her. But I have a feeling, and obviously I feel like because he went first in that challenge, he didn't understand what the idea of the challenge was. I think he thought that the idea of the challenge was to say a lot of honest things and be as brutally honest as possible, and then you'd get more blood. But the blood was already like divvied up, and that's why he got less brutally honest as he went through, because he was like, oh, actually, it doesn't matter how brutally honest I am. I just have to give an answer, basically. But I think he started out of the gate just being brutal, and then he was like, oh, actually, it doesn't matter how brutal I am. Let's tone it down. So overall with Dean, I enjoyed him. I was a little bit upset that he was evicted again. I was actually out the night that he was evicted, so I didn't watch him get evicted until the day after. And I was a bit pissed off because I was like, he was up against Marcello again, and I was like, how is Marcello surviving all these evictions when he's done so many horrendous, horrible things in the house? I don't understand it. But anyway, moving on. Lily. Lily's legendary. Lily is an iconic housemate. She's going to go down in history as one of the most chaotic, crazy personalities that we've ever had on the show. I loved her personally. I had moments where I didn't enjoy her. I had moments where I absolutely loved her, but it aired more on the side of I really love her, but I just don't think I could live with her. I think I would get really, really frustrated. Or I would just be so, like, on the alley side of things where I'm like, do you know what? It just doesn't bother me anymore. It actually just doesn't bother me. I'm going to tell her what she needs to in private, but she's an icon at the end of the day. She's an absolute icon. And I think that is exactly where Lily deserves to be in the legendary spot. Love her, hate her. She's an icon at the end of the day. She's not iconic, because that's reserved for one person and one person only on every single one of these tier lists that I do. Just bear that in mind. But yeah, legendary, icon, amazing. Khaled, I'd put him here. I had a bit of a rocky friendship with Khaled. Well, I say friendship like he's my friend. I had a rocky time with him in the house. I started out with Ali being like, okay, I think he is actually quite fake. And then with Ali, they started to show a lot more of his personality. In the first couple of weeks, like the first 2 weeks, we weren't seeing Khaled. We were seeing what like Big Brother was showing us of Khaled, which was very sort of poised, perfect. I completely agreed with Ali when she was like, it's a 3-minute party in a house. Like, just go dance. You don't have to apologize to us. So I feel like that set me off on the wrong foot with him. But by the time he left the house, I really enjoyed him, and I was actually kind of shocked and sad to see him go. It was a tough one, that eviction, with Lily, Ali, Khaled, Emma, and Baked Potato. That was quite possibly like the worst like eviction lineup this series. Like, we had 2 really bad eviction lineups where like I didn't want anybody to go. And it was just unfortunate that Lily and Khaled had to be the ones to go in order to save Ali from eviction. But it is what it is. It's a shame that he went. But I think his exit actually mixed the house up really well for the last week, because it created a lot more tension. It also dissolved a lot of tension. I feel like there were times when Khaled was wanting to prolong an argument when I felt like it had been squashed, but I obviously am not living in the house. But then also I felt like there were times when he was very entertaining. He was very turned on. The way he dealt with Nathan after Nathan said what he said about Khaled was very eloquent, very articulate, and actually I respected him so much more for that. So yeah, I did enjoy Khaled. Next up, now, Baked Potato could go in legendary, but I think I'm going to put her in enjoyable. And the only reason why she's going in enjoyable is because she got a shit exit. She got a shit exit, and if she'd have had that moment on the catwalk in the final, because let's face it, she would have got to the final over Shagun and Thomas and Sarah if it wasn't for that bloody twist. I think she would have come sixth. Fair enough. Chill, chill, chill. Nice, nice, nice. But either way, I just feel like we missed that moment of her. She had hysterical facial expressions. She had funny as fuck moments. I also have bumped her down a little bit because I felt that at times her time in the house was spent mostly on Nathan. And that's absolutely fair and valid. You spend time with who you want to spend time with at the end of the day. But I did feel like we were losing a lot of her personality at some times because they were focusing so heavily on that storyline, the editors, that is. And so we just lost a lot of what we could see from her. But what we did see from her, fucking fantastic. I loved her. Her facial expressions, though, amazing. I don't know how her mouth can unhinge that much. That's craziness. But anyway, I really enjoyed her. She's at the top of enjoyable for me because I did enjoy her more than the others. Sarah, I'm putting her in disliked. I hated how she enabled Marcello so often. There were so many times when she called him out, but then immediately after it was like, oh, but we're busy mates now. And I was like, if you've got that, if he's doing this repeatedly and you have a problem with him repeatedly, why do you keep like kiki kai with him? Do you know what I mean? There were so many times where I felt that she was sometimes a little bit disrespectful. The stop the gloats, that was potentially one of the worst moments of the series, that whole bit. The secondhand embarrassment I got for her, having to sit and getting told off by Big Brother because she was acting like an utter cock. What do you mean you're going around going, stop the boats? Get a grip. Like, oh, I didn't mean it in the political slogan way. Come on. You're a grown woman. Know what words mean. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I didn't rate Sarah. I think she started out well, but she just got progressively worse. There were moments where she really annoyed me. I don't know whether it was just like the like whiny nature of her, but yeah, it just got on my nerves. I didn't rate it. Thomas, I feel like I need a forgettable section, but like he's gonna go in disliked. I didn't really dislike him purely because like I didn't see enough of him to dislike. We got about one clip of him an episode, if that. And it's crazy because everybody who's come out of the house was like, oh my god, Thomas was like one of the funniest people in the house. Thomas was like one of the most entertaining. He was like Captain Morale or whatever they called him. And we were like, none of us saw that. Nobody saw that, bestie. So what you talking about? What's going on here? So clearly something was lost in the edit. But like what I did see of him, it was okay. Like I didn't hate him. I didn't like him. I didn't love him. I didn't dislike at all. It's just he has to go there because I also don't think he had ups or downs. He doesn't deserve to be any higher. He deserves to be above Sarah and Ryan, I think, but that's just because those two I just didn't like. Shagun, are you gonna hate me if I put him in enjoyable? Actually, I actually didn't dislike him. I think a lot of people lumped Shagun and Thomas in the same kind of category of forgettable housemates, but the last week that we had where Hannah's friends exposed him and that whole thing went down, and then the finale when they played the clips and he was like trying to pedal backwards, I really was entertained. I was entertained by him throughout. There were so many moments where he gave us hilarious reaction shots. He had funny conversations. He is obviously the icon from The Red Witch, which obviously in hindsight is not a very nice thing. Like actually watching it and realizing it's not great, but still iconic moment of the series. He handed Ali the win there, in my opinion. That was the moment that was like, oh, Ali's going to win. Okay, cool. Because you're literally ganging up against her. Yeah, that's going to get the British public on your side, isn't it? So yeah, Shagun, I really enjoyed. I don't think I enjoyed him as much as Khaled and Baked Potato, but like I really enjoyed him. I thought he was great. Nathan, I'd have to put him above Shagun, but below Khaled, purely because, and love or hate his politics, whatever, fine. You can have that opinion. That's absolutely fine. You can dislike him as a person. But in the Big Brother house, he was fucking entertaining. He had so many moments where I was like, yeah, this man's actually quite funny. He had so many pranks pulled on him. There were so many times when he was driving the drama, he was bitching at people. It's just entertaining TV at the end of the day. Entertainment City. And I do appreciate that about Nathan. His arguments with Days were always heated, but then they knew that they were just having a debate and it was all chill. And I appreciated that about them. Then his relationship with Baked Potato, a bit awkward at times, but I feel like that's just their vibe. It's just awkwardness. And obviously awkward because they know that they're on TV as well. I feel like it wouldn't be that awkward if it wasn't like there are cameras everywhere. So I feel like Nathan, I'd have to put him in that spot. Yeah, I'm going to leave him there. Hannah, legendary. I think at the time it pissed me off, but looking back, it actually was hysterical and entertaining. But the whole... we have no salt and pepper. We have no Cocoa Pops. Just that scene in general at the time felt performative. But I think actually, even if it was performative, it's fucking hysterical. She had so many good moments. The two moments that for me let her down were the Red Witch bit and when she was just laughing and jeering during the villagers and vampires bit. I genuinely would have had a go at her there. Everything else, absolutely loved her. The way she dealt with Shagan, boss bitch. The way she dealt with Martha, boss bitch. Although sometimes the argumentative side, it can just be a little bit much because it feels like you're trying to provoke an argument out of thin air a little bit. Like, if you were talking to me like that, oh, I'm giving it to you right back. Whereas Martha didn't, and I think that's why things sort of de-escalated potentially. Yeah, honestly, Hannah, great housemate. 10 out of 10. I was shocked she came fourth, but equally the same as like Yinran last year. I wonder whether there was just like a surge of support for the people who potentially could have beaten first place. Potentially, I don't know. And maybe, I don't know. I really enjoyed Hannah. I was shocked she came fourth. I would have had her in the second or third spot for me. But yeah, honestly, great housemate. Up next, we have Emma. Emma, disappointing. Disappointing from Emma, the way she's behaved after the house. But I would say that I enjoyed her within the house. Everyone's like, oh, she was so bitchy. Like, oh, she was constantly bitching about Lily. Listen, everybody has that one person that they love to bitch about with their friends. Everybody has that one person. Whenever you meet up, oh, did you hear what so-and-so did? Ugh. Literally. And Lily would just happen to be that person for her. I did think some of the comments were a little bit disrespectful when she came out. However, it is what it is. She was a legendary housemate. She had me rolling in stitches. And she was also the perfect housemate to ask questions and almost interview and be like, yo, what is this? Explain this to me. Who is this to you? Who is this person? And I did appreciate that from her. I thought that was actually a really, really nice part of her personality. She asked questions very delicately, sensitively. Sometimes she could put her foot in it, but most of the time it was just because she was genuinely interested in hearing people's stories and backstories. I think you know where Marcello's going to go. I cannot believe he came second. I didn't enjoy him. I just actually couldn't stand him. I feel like there's always one person. Like last series it was Paul. Couldn't stand him. This series it was Marcello. I just couldn't stand him. I think that it's just... I'm glad that AJ called him out and was like, you were being disrespectful. And the fact that he was like, oh yeah, I probably should have just kept it in the boys chat. That's not an apology. Like, it doesn't make it okay to say, do you know what I mean? Oh, I just CBA with him. I'm not even going to spend too much time talking about him because I just CBA. But yeah, Ali is my iconic person. I think she shaped this series. She was sort of the underdog in terms of there was a group in the house that was trying to get rid of her, actively trying to get rid of her. The whole Red Witch comment, not great for her, felt bad for her. There were moments, yeah, I feel like she judged people too quickly. However, I will say, as much as she judged people too quickly, I don't think she judged them incorrectly. Especially when it comes to, like, Shagan, when she called him out over the whole Hannah situation. Khaled, I still believe that there was an element of not performance, but filtering yourself for the camera in order to sort of appear gracious and nice, etc., etc. Fair enough. If you want to do that, fair enough. And I just enjoyed her friendship with Lily. I think that that's genuinely such a beautiful bond that they've created between the two of them. She's my winner. I voted for her to win all the way. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say about her other than I really, really enjoyed her. Love her, hate her. She defined this series for me in terms of entertainment and sort of making drama, etc., etc. Having someone to root for. I feel like this is exactly the kind of winner that I would want for my season. And it's nice to have a woman win it as well. We had a man last year, we had a woman this year, we had a bisexual guy that last year, lesbian this year. Iconic. That's all I can say. So, that is it. That is the list. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well, and I will see you guys later. But for me, from Big Brother 24, Season 21, 2024, that is it. That's my last video. I'll see you guys later. Keep on ranting. Bye now.